Most people think attraction is about looks. But let me tell you something, looks fade fast. What actually makes someone unforgettable is not their face, not their body, but their emotional maturity. Back. Because beauty can catch your eye, but only maturity keeps your heart, your trust, and your respect. And if you don't understand this truth, back, you'll keep chasing the wrong thing and wondering why your relationships never last. People often place a disproportionate amount of value on looks, back, believing that physical beauty is the ultimate key to attraction and success. The truth is, appearances create only a temporary spark, one that fades as quickly as it begins. What truly sustains interest, admiration, back, and respect is the depth of character and emotional strength that a person brings into every interaction. When you meet someone for the first time, yes, their appearance might draw your attention, but over time, back becomes less relevant. What starts to matter is whether you can trust them, whether you feel safe around them, and whether they bring consistency into your life. Beauty doesn't guarantee kindness, patience, or loyalty, and it certainly doesn't guarantee resilience in hard times. That's why people quickly lose interest in those who rely only on looks. Emotional maturity, however, grows stronger and more impactful as life progresses. It is not bound by time in the way beauty is, and that's why it holds far greater weight. Think about the relationships that have had the most impact on your life, back, whether personal or professional. Rarely do we remember people only for their physical appearance. Instead, we remember how they made us feel. Did they give us strength during times of chaos? Back. Did they listen when we needed understanding? Did they keep their word when it mattered? These qualities come from emotional maturity, not from the shape of someone's face or the number on their clothing tag. The problem is that many chase short-term validation instead of long-term value, and they end up empty. They wonder why connections feel shallow or why admiration fades. Back. And it's because they invested in something temporary. Looks attract glances, but maturity earns respect, and respect lasts. It is the compounding nature of maturity that makes it far more powerful. Just like interest in a bank account, it grows quietly in the background until it becomes undeniable. When someone has emotional depth, their presence feels different. Back. It feels grounding in a world that is chaotic and uncertain. You don't question whether they will overact. You don't fear if they will collapse under pressure. Back, and you don't hesitate to share your vulnerabilities with them. That kind of safety is rare, and that rarity makes it incredibly attractive. Compare this to someone who may look flawless, but is unpredictable, defensive, very easily shaken. Over time, the shine of their appearance loses its value because what people crave most is stability. Emotional maturity offers that stability, and it becomes more valuable with every challenge in life. Back, every setback becomes a chance to grow stronger, every failure becomes a lesson, and every victory becomes grounded instead of inflated by ego. Looks cannot compete with this kind of growth. Back, maturity is built from choices, discipline, and awareness, and it stays with you as long as you continue to grow. That's why it never fades the way beauty does. Right, there's also an important truth about how the world works. People will always test you. Life will always challenge you, and situations will always arise that demand more than surface level charm. You can't navigate business, relationships, or even personal development on appearance alone. You need resilience when things don't go your way, patience when others test your limits, back, and humility when success tempts your ego. These qualities cannot be bought, painted on, or filtered into existence. They are earned through facing reality as it is and responding to it with strength instead of weakness. Back. Emotional maturity shows up in the way you hold yourself when nobody is watching. It's visible in how you handle rejection, in how you recover from mistakes, hit back, and in how you treat people who cannot offer you anything in return. This is what people notice over time, and this is why maturity compounds while looks decline. In the early stages of life, many are blinded by surface level attraction. They chase beauty status or external markers of success, believing those will bring fulfillment. But eventually, reality teaches a different lesson. Back, the most beautiful person in the room means nothing if they drain your energy or make you feel unstable. The most attractive face will not comfort you when you are struggling, and it will not guide you through uncertainty. Over time, people begin to prioritize those who bring peace, wisdom, and security instead of just excitement. In fact, this shift happens because humans naturally evolve toward valuing what lasts. Looks are temporary, and time ensures they decline. But maturity grows deeper as the years pass, back, making someone more attractive the older they get. It's the long-term investment that always beats the short-term thrill. This is why when you think of the people you admire most, you rarely picture only their appearance. Instead, you remember their discipline, their kindness, their patience, or their ability to rise above challenges. Back. You remember how they carried themselves when everything was falling apart. That's emotional maturity in action, and it's unforgettable because it leaves an imprint. Back. You might forget the details of someone's appearance after years, but you never forget how they treated you or how they made you feel. That memory shapes your perception of them back. And that perception is what defines their true attractiveness. Looks are noticed, but character is remembered. The compound effect of emotional maturity builds a legacy that far outlasts fleeting beauty. Emotional maturity also impacts how we treat ourselves. Someone who values growth over surface level validation builds habits that sustain them long term. They don't seek quick fixes or external approval as their primary source of confidence. Instead, they invest in discipline, accountability, and self-awareness, which only make them more powerful with time. This kind of internal strength radiates outward, creating a presence that others naturally respect. When you know someone is emotionally strong, you don't question whether they will collapse when life gets hard. You trust them. And that trust is deeply attractive. Compare that to someone who relies only on their appearance for validation. They spend their life chasing approval instead of building depth, and eventually, that emptiness shows through. Emotional maturity removes that emptiness and replaces it with substance. There's also the undeniable truth that emotional maturity breeds confidence that doesn't need to be loud or forced. While looks might catch attention, confidence rooted in maturity keeps attention without effort. I trust confidence doesn't come from arrogance, but from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and how you handle adversity. It is subtle, but it is powerful. And it commands respect from the room without needing to shout. That kind of presence is far more captivating than appearance alone. People may not always consciously identify it, but they feel it. They feel drawn to those who exude calm, composure, and self-assurance, and these are all traits of maturity. This attraction doesn't diminish with time. In fact, it grows stronger the older someone becomes. Looks decline, but this kind of confidence only sharpens. Ultimately, the value of emotional maturity lies in its ability to withstand what looks cannot. It survives time, it survives pressure, and it survives change. Life will test every one of us in ways we cannot predict. The question is whether we are prepared to handle those tests with grace or whether we will fall apart. Those who rely only on appearance have nothing to stand on when adversity comes. Those who have built emotional strength stand tall regardless of the storm. That's why maturity is the foundation of true attractiveness. It grows, it compounds, and it creates a kind of respect that no mirror reflection can ever compete with. Trust is not something people give away easily, especially in a world where consistency is rare and reactions often reveal more than words. When someone demonstrates emotional control, it instantly sets them apart because it shows discipline over impulses. People are naturally drawn to those who can remain calm in situations where most would panic or lash out. It signals strength, self-awareness, and reliability, qualities that others crave when they are searching for stability. Anyone can smile when life is good, but the true test comes when life is unfair, stressful, or unpredictable. Emotional control becomes the bridge that allows others to feel safe in your presence. It tells them that you can be trusted not just in good times, but also in the moments that truly matter. Trust, once built, becomes the foundation for respect and influence. Without emotional control, that foundation quickly crumbles. When people lose control of their emotions, they lose more than just composure, they lose credibility. A person who reacts out of anger, frustration, or insecurity creates doubt in the minds of those around them. Doubt is the enemy of trust, and once it sets in, it is hard to remove. In contrast, emotional maturity creates a sense of certainty, and certainty is deeply attractive. When you know how someone will respond, you feel more comfortable depending on them. That dependability becomes a rare commodity, especially in environments where emotions often run high. Leaders, partners, and friends who control their emotions become anchors in the storms of life. People look at them not as perfect, but as steady, and steady is what builds confidence over time. It is this consistency that keeps trust alive long after initial impressions fade. Emotional control is not about suppression, but about direction. It's about choosing to respond instead of react, even when provoked. This choice separates those who build trust from those who destroy it. For example, in a conflict, most people escalate the situation because their pride gets involved. They want to win rather than resolve, but those who remain calm and focused on outcomes instead of ego escalate tension and earn respect. People remember how you make them feel in moments of conflict, and calmness makes them feel safe. It shows them you're not ruled by impulses, but by principles. That difference is what separates fleeting admiration from lasting loyalty. Trust grows when people see that you can handle discomfort without letting it dictate your behavior. There's also a direct link between emotional control and credibility in professional settings. Imagine a leader who panics under pressure or lashes out when results don't meet expectations. Even if they are talented, Their instability will create fear and doubt in the team. Now imagine someone who faces the same challenges but remains composed, clear-headed, and focused. Back. People will naturally gravitate toward the latter because stability is contagious. Emotional control builds confidence not only in the individual but in everyone around them. It gives teams, families, back, and communities the reassurance that they are safe no matter what obstacles arise. This safety is what keeps people invested, loyal, and willing to follow. Looks might capture attention, but emotional steadiness keeps people aligned. In personal relationships, emotional control is the difference between trust that grows and trust that dies. A partner who lashes out in anger, shuts down in silence, back, or blames others creates an environment of uncertainty. Uncertainty breeds fear, and fear corrodes connection. On the other hand, a partner who can express emotions without being consumed by them builds a sense of safety. Safety is what allows vulnerability, and vulnerability is what allows intimacy. Without emotional control, relationships fall apart because trust is replaced with insecurity. With emotional control, back, relationships thrive because trust deepens with every challenge overcome together. People crave not just passion, but peace, and peace is created by control over one's emotions. Trust is also a reflection of predictability. People need to know how you will respond in moments of stress, pressure, or conflict. If your reactions are unpredictable, take it back. They will hold back and protect themselves from disappointment. But if they can predict your calmness, your rationality, and your composure, they will lean in and trust you more. Emotional control builds this predictability not by being robotic, but by being intentional. It shows you can acknowledge emotions without being ruled by them. That balance is powerful because it proves you can navigate both highs and lows with consistency. Consistency is what turns admiration into reliance. The more reliable you are, the more trustworthy you become. Back. Emotional control also prevents the destruction that comes from words spoken in haste or actions taken without thought. How many relationships, careers, or opportunities are lost because of a momentary outburst? Back. People remember the damage caused by uncontrolled emotions far longer than they remember the reason behind them. But when you practice control, you protect not only your reputation, but also your relationships. You create an environment where people know they won't be blindsided by your reactions. That kind of assurance is rare and deeply valuable. It takes years to build trust, but only seconds to break it. Back, and control is what protects the investment. By mastering emotions, you protect trust, and by protecting trust, you increase your influence. Back. It's important to recognize that emotional control doesn't mean ignoring emotions. It means feeling them fully, but expressing them with intention. Anger can be expressed without destruction. Back. Sadness can be shared without weakness, and joy can be celebrated without arrogance. When people see you handle emotions in this way, they respect you more because it shows balance. Back, balance is what people crave in a world that constantly pulls them in extremes. They want to know that you can feel deeply but still act wisely. This combination of empathy and control makes you both relatable and reliable. That's why emotional control doesn't just build trust, it builds admiration. Over time, emotional control becomes part of your identity. Back. And people trust you not because of what you say, but because of who you are. They trust you because you've shown them again and again that your behavior is not dictated by mood or circumstance. Back, this track record of consistency creates a reputation that speaks louder than appearances. When people know they can count on you, they invest more of themselves into the relationship, whether personal or professional. They share more, risk more, and rely on you more because your emotional steadiness has earned that privilege. This level of trust is priceless, and it cannot be achieved by appearance alone. Back, it is earned through discipline, awareness, and the choice to remain steady even when it's difficult. Ego thrives on the illusion of already being enough. Back, while growth thrives on the belief that there is always more to learn. People who operate from ego become trapped in defending their current image rather than investing in who they could become. This creates fragility. Back, because the moment life challenges them, their entire identity feels threatened. On the other hand, those with a growth mindset see challenges as opportunities to evolve. They don't see failure as proof of inadequacy, but as feedback that helps them improve. That perspective alone makes them more attractive because humility is rare and powerful. Back. People admire those who can admit they don't know everything but are willing to learn anything. This attitude draws others in because it feels real, unpretentious, and deeply inspiring. Growth makes you magnetic, while ego makes you forgettable. Ego is obsessed with being right, but growth is obsessed with getting better. When someone argues endlessly to protect their pride, it drains the energy of everyone around them. Back. But when someone listens, learns, and adapts, it builds respect instead of resentment. People naturally trust those who prioritize solutions over self-importance. Back. They feel safer around someone who doesn't need to dominate, but instead seeks progress. That willingness to be wrong without losing confidence is a rare skill. It shows balance between humility and strength back, and that balance is compelling. Ego repels because it suffocates. Growth attracts because it liberates. A person committed to growth shows that improvement is more important than image. An image without growth back eventually fades into irrelevance. What makes growth so powerful is that it compounds over time, just like trust and character. The more someone learns, the more capable and confident they become, and that confidence is built on substance. Ego, on the other hand, becomes brittle because it depends on external validation. Without constant praise, the ego feels insecure, while the growth-oriented person thrives regardless of recognition. This self-sufficiency is what makes them stand out. They are not swayed by every opinion or judgment because their focus is on progress, not approval. Get back. That level of independence creates an aura of strength. People admire those who grow because they're investing in something permanent. Growth doesn't disappear when trends change. Back, it makes you increasingly valuable with every step forward. Relationships also reveal the difference between ego and growth mindset. Ego makes conversations about winning arguments, proving superiority, or avoiding blame. This creates conflict and distance because nobody feels heard or valued. Growth, however, shifts the focus toward understanding, compromise, and collaboration. It builds connection instead of separation. A partner, back, colleague, or friend who prioritizes growth over ego creates a safe space for honesty. They don't see feedback as an attack, but as a gift. That kind of humility allows relationships to deepen instead of collapse. Back. People crave being around someone who doesn't always have to be right, but always wants to be better. This trait builds lasting bonds that appearances or charm can never replace. Back. Ego also limits potential by keeping people stuck in their comfort zones. It whispers that trying something new risks embarrassment, so it convinces people to stay safe and stagnant. But growth mindset embraces discomfort because it recognizes it as the birthplace of progress. Those who value growth more than ego willingly fail forward, and this courage is magnetic. It shows strength of character and resilience in the face of uncertainty. Others admire that because it reflects a kind of bravery they aspire to develop themselves. Ego resists risk because it fears exposure back, but growth embraces risk because it sees opportunity. That distinction is what separates people who evolve into leaders from those who remain stuck in mediocrity. Growth rewards courage while ego punishes it. Back in professional life, ego stunts teams while growth elevates them. A leader driven by ego wants to be the smartest in the room, so they silence voices and demand obedience. This creates resentment, fear, and eventually disloyalty. But a leader with a growth mindset surrounds themselves with people smarter than them because they value progress over pride. That humility inspires loyalty and creativity, and the team flourishes under it. People follow those who grow because growth benefits everyone, not just the individual. Ego only serves itself, but growth serves the group. That is why businesses, organizations, back in communities thrive under those who embrace learning and evolving. Progress is contagious, and people want to be part of something that's moving forward. Ego can also turn success into a prison. Many people achieve something once and then cling to it as their entire identity. They stop learning, stop adapting, and eventually stop growing. Success becomes a cage rather than a platform. Back, but those with a growth mindset see success as just another step, not the final destination. They celebrate but don't get stuck because they know there's always another level to reach. This attitude keeps them fresh, innovative, and relevant while others stagnate. People are drawn to this forward motion because it inspires them to do the same. Nobody wants to follow someone stuck in yesterday's victory. Back, they want to follow someone hungry for tomorrow's possibility. Growth keeps you alive while ego keeps you trapped. Another powerful aspect of growth over ego is the way it changes how setbacks are handled. Ego takes failure personally, interpreting it as proof of inadequacy. This makes people defensive, bitter, or paralyzed. Growth, however, takes failure impersonally, seeing it as data, feedback, and a stepping stone. This resilience is magnetic because it demonstrates strength under pressure. People trust those who don't collapse when things go wrong, but instead use setbacks to grow stronger. It shows maturity, perseverance, and the courage to keep moving. Everyone encounters failure, but not everyone learns from it. Those who do stand out in every environment. Growth transforms failure into fuel. Back, while ego turns it into a wound that never heals. Ego often pushes people to compare themselves, constantly needing to measure worth against others. This creates insecurity masked as arrogance, which others quickly sense. Back, growth, however, is not about competition, but about evolution. It doesn't require tearing others down, but instead focuses on personal progress. Back, people admire those who lift others up while still striving to be better themselves. It shows strength, abundance, and confidence in one's path. That energy attracts rather than repels. Get back. Instead of being threatened by others' success, a growth-minded person celebrates it because they know there's room for everyone to improve. This collaborative spirit creates trust and admiration back, which are far more attractive than ego-driven rivalry. Growth expands possibilities while ego shrinks them. Ultimately, choosing growth over ego is about valuing potential over image. Ego clings to who you are now, but growth invests in who you could become. This mindset creates an energy that people want to be around because it feels limitless. It's not about being perfect, but about being willing to improve every single day. People find this attractive because it shows humility without weakness and confidence without arrogance. Growth signals strength, resilience, and adaptability, while ego signals insecurity disguised as pride. Those who commit to growth continually reinvent themselves, making them more magnetic over time. Looks might spark attention, but growth sustains admiration. And admiration born from growth is what lasts. Relationships are not sustained by the things that first catch the eye. They are sustained by the qualities that touch the heart and calm the mind. Beauty can draw attention, but it does not guarantee depth, respect, back, or commitment. Emotional maturity, however, lays the groundwork for all three because it is about more than appearances. It is about patience when things don't go your way and understanding when conflict arises. Back. It is about creating a sense of safety where both people know they are valued for more than how they look. A relationship without maturity becomes fragile, easily broken by the first storm. Back. But a relationship built on maturity becomes resilient, capable of weathering anything. The difference lies in what the foundation is made of, appearance or character. Appearances fade, maturity strengthens. And what strengthens is what lasts. In the early stages of connection, physical attraction might feel like the most powerful force, but it loses strength over time. Back. What remains is how each person shows up when life is difficult. Do they listen when they disagree, or do they fight to dominate? Do they take responsibility for mistakes, or do they deflect blame? These moments reveal whether maturity is present or absent. Without it, attraction quickly fades into frustration and resentment. With it, attraction evolves into trust, admiration, and partnership. Back. Relationships that thrive are the ones where both people feel heard and respected. Looks might open the door, but maturity keeps it from closing. Back. And that difference shapes whether a connection lasts a season or a lifetime. Maturity in relationships is about emotional regulation, and that is what creates safety. When someone can control their anger, express their feelings clearly, and respond with patience, they create a stable environment. Stability is the soil in which trust grows. A person who cannot control their emotions may be exciting for a while, back, but they are also exhausting. You never know when they will erupt, shut down, or run away. Over time, this unpredictability makes relationships fragile and unstable. In contrast, back, a mature person communicates with honesty without hostility. They can disagree without disrespect and correct without condemnation. That balance creates peace, and peace is far more attractive than chaos. True maturity also means valuing growth within the relationship rather than clinging to ego. In immature dynamics, arguments revolve around winning instead of understanding. Pride takes center stage, back, and connection is sacrificed for the sake of being right. But in mature relationships, the goal is resolution, not victory. Both people prioritize the health of the relationship over the satisfaction of the ego. They can admit mistakes, apologize sincerely, and forgive fully. This humility allows the bond to deepen rather than weaken over time. Maturity removes the scorekeeping that poisons love and replaces it with teamwork. The focus is not on who wins today, but on how the relationship grows tomorrow. That mindset creates longevity. Maturity also plays a crucial role in handling differences. No two people are identical, back, and disagreements are inevitable. Immature relationships treat differences as threats, demanding conformity. Mature relationships treat differences as opportunities to learn and expand perspectives. They create space for individuality while maintaining unity. This respect for differences prevents resentment and allows each person to feel valued. It is not about changing the other person, but about understanding them. Back. That understanding builds empathy, and empathy is the glue of any lasting bond. Looks might spark interest, but understanding sustains connection. And it is in that deeper connection that relationships thrive, regardless of appearances. Another layer of maturity is the ability to manage expectations realistically. Immature relationships often collapse under the weight of unrealistic ideals. People expect perfection, constant excitement, or endless agreement. When reality falls short, disappointment sets in. Mature relationships recognize that imperfection is part of the journey. They expect challenges and prepare to face them together. This realistic mindset prevents the shock and disillusionment that end many connections. Instead of being destroyed by flaws, back, the relationship grows stronger by navigating them. That acceptance makes love more durable because it is rooted in truth, not fantasy. And truth, unlike appearance, does not fade with time. Commitment is another area where maturity separates lasting relationships from fragile ones. Immaturity seeks instant gratification, moving on when things get tough or when novelty wears off. But maturity honors commitment even when emotions fluctuate. It recognizes that love is not only a feeling but also a choice made daily through actions. This consistency builds reliability, and reliability builds trust. Partners who demonstrate maturity don't run at the first sign of hardship. They stay, they work, and they rebuild when needed. This resilience is far more attractive than fleeting passion. Relationships thrive when both people choose to remain invested, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. Maturity also elevates intimacy because true closeness requires vulnerability. Immature relationships avoid vulnerability, fearing rejection or weakness. They hide behind facades, never revealing what lies beneath the surface. Mature relationships, however, embrace vulnerability as a path to deeper connection. Both people feel safe enough to share fears, dreams, and insecurities without judgment. This openness creates a kind of intimacy that physical attraction alone can never match. It fosters trust at the deepest level because nothing is hidden and everything is embraced. Vulnerability without maturity is risky, but with maturity, it becomes transformative. That transformation makes love richer, stronger, and enduring. Over time, take it back. It becomes clear that the qualities people remember in relationships are not how someone looked, but how they acted. Were they kind? Were they patient? Did they bring peace or chaos? Did they show up consistently? Even when it wasn't convenient, these are the questions that define attraction in the long run. Beauty may catch the eye, but character captures the heart. And it is maturity that ensures character grows stronger rather than weaker over time. The people who leave lasting marks on us are never remembered just for appearance. They are remembered for the way they made us feel safe, valued, and loved. Relationships are not judged by how they begin, but by how they endure. Looks may start the story, but maturity decides how it unfolds. Every strong bond that lasts decades carries the fingerprints of patience, humility, forgiveness, and resilience. These traits outlast appearances and outshine temporary charm. The truth is simple. What sustains love is not what is seen, but what is practiced. Maturity builds the trust, safety, and intimacy that appearance cannot. That is why emotional maturity is more attractive than looks, because it creates a connection that grows deeper with time. In the end, it is maturity that turns fleeting attraction into lasting love, and that is the kind of beauty that never fades.